Hey, Dr. Tammy.
Yes.
I got a quiz for you. What's green, smells like skunk, is legal in 8 states, and has been used in the treatment of cancer?
Medical marijuana.
Ah, you got it. Let's watch this little clip. Can you believe that marijuana has been vilified since 1936?
I know, it's crazy. We're just now having the conversation. And you know, there are
2017.
I know. There are medical research journal articles, over 20,000 articles over the past 50 years. And we're just now getting to the point where we're seeing the benefits.
Wow. And today on The Naked Doctor, we're going to talk to you about getting high. I mean, medical marijuana and all the benefits of medical marijuana, because it's now legal here in the state of Arkansas.
And I'm going to blow your mind with some information about you have it in your body right now, whether you know it or not.
Ooh, exciting.
Very exciting.
See you when we come back.
We'll be right back. Welcome back this week to The Naked Doctor. I'm Dr. Tammy.
And I'm Bryan.
We have a great show for you this week.
Oh, honey, phone's ringing.
Oh.
Yeah. That's strange.
I know. Who put a phone there?
Hello? Oh, honey, it's Bill. Hey, Bill.
Oh.
He wants to know if it's okay to inhale.
Tell him yes. It's actually legal now.
Yes, Bill, it's okay to inhale now. It's legal. All right, take care. I love that guy.
I love that phone. Where did we even get that?
I don't know. There's a lot of kids that don't even know what this is.
I know. Like, it kind of goes back to the 30s. Can you believe it's been like since the 30s that people have been demonizing medical marijuana? Let's just call it marijuana.
Sure.
Have been demonizing it, you know, since reefer madness and all that craziness. And it's been researched in over 20,000 articles. I mean, it has so many medical purposes, and it has such healing properties. And we're going to talk about that on today's show. There's just so many benefits to it. It's interesting that I saw one poll that said back in 1969, the year I was born, 12% of people were saying that medical marijuana was okay. And now we're up to 70% today in our modern world are saying that it's okay. But even that 30% still being influenced by the things that happened in the 30s. There was a guy, this is really interesting as I was doing the research for this, that at the 20th century, at the start of the 20th century, it was actually legalized. And Richard Nixon came in and started making all the problems and everything. This was like in the 70s, and actually made it a controlled substance. So a controlled substance for physicians, we have like this tier. So level 1 control all the way down to 4, which kind of goes down to, you know, just regular medications that we prescribe.
Okay.
But a level 1 is up there with heroin and ecstasy. So marijuana is up there. So, I mean, it's like, it's not legal at all. You can't prescribe any of those things even as a doctor, so it's tightly controlled. It's still a federal crime, even though it's been legalized in 8 states. And it was just Obama who came in and said, we're going to kind of look the other way. So there's still some issues whether we're going to be okay with this, you know. So that's some of the things we're going to talk about today. And I think it was interesting. There was a guy just after the reefer madness in the 40s. His name was Harry Anslinger. He's known as the father of the war on weed. He was the first commissioner of the Bureau of Narcotics. And he was kind of all part of that reefer madness stuff that has stirred up all this fear and anxiety. And Richard Nixon was actually caught on tape saying that, you know, how he just completely demonized it and said that, you know, he was using racial slurs and saying it was only the Jews and the black people and not using the nice words.
Yeah.
that were using this, and just kind of that it was going to influence our good white kids. And it's so interesting, all the fear and the things about that. So that's some of the things we're going to talk about on the show today.
Sounds really super interesting.
Yes, very. And we're going to talk about the medical aspects and how everyone's got some of it in their body right now, whether they know it or not, which is crazy, right? We'll be right back with The Naked Doctor.
I own a company called Gladiator Hard Surface Cleaning and Restoration, and that work involves being active every day. And I played a lot of sports as a kid and broke bones, etc. And as a result, the arthritis and the pain in my arm is pretty severe, but I have to keep going every day. And again, don't like to take any medication. So I learned of PRP and platelet-rich plasma, which is your own blood. It's so amazing that it can be spun down and then re-injected into your areas where you're having pain and actually regenerate the cartilage or the muscle or whatever needs to be regenerated, so that now I have no pain. Now it's only been, 12 days, and the injection here and then in my shoulder from pitching and playing sports and football and all these things that people do, I have no pain now. I have full rotation of my arm in a very short period of time. So what a breakthrough, and I hope everybody that is in pain can look at it as an option that you might not have heard of before, because I knew nothing about it.
Better Living RX. We help you reclaim your life by optimizing your health. We offer hormone balancing, food sensitivity testing, and supplements. You feeling better is what matters. Online at betterlivingrx.com.
So when the medical marijuana thing passes, how do you think other doctors are going to feel about that? You think other doctors are going to be like writing recommendations?
Well, I don't know how many people are going to be really, there's some social pressure, there's so much stigma attached to it. Some doctors are going to be really leery. And the medical board is rightfully so monitoring this. So doctors are going to be held to the same standards as those doctors who do pain management with like opioids or narcotic therapy. So it's not going to be just like everybody gets a card and, hey doc, like your friends at the bar, hey, you're a doctor, can I get a card? And it doesn't work that way.
Why did you point at me when you said my friends at the bar?
Your friends at the bar.
I love my friends at the bar.
You have to be
My friends.
You have to be an established patient with an established diagnosis.
So what are some of those? I mean, I think you mentioned fibromyalgia, you mentioned high blood pressure, but we're talking, so nausea, migraines, chronic pain.
Right. Post-traumatic stress is
that's
huge.
a big one, yeah.
And that's one of the things too that originally kind of at the first of the century, that there were a lot of people from the concentration camps and things like that. The Jews were actually using a lot of marijuana for post-traumatic stress from, all the trauma they'd been through. And it was the Jewish shopkeepers who were kind of carrying this in their stores, and then, they weren't really able to monitoring the taxation of it and everything, and then
the government wasn't.
The government, and then the pharmaceutical companies came in and they wanted to use their drugs, and there's no lethal dose of marijuana because there basically is no receptors in the brain for the heart or the lungs, which you have to breathe and your heart has to beat. No receptors, cannabinoid receptors for that, so there's no lethal dose of marijuana. So just it's the safest of all the treatments that we use for these diagnoses, and oftentimes the most effective as well.
So people who are interested in medical marijuana, they are going to have to be established patients.
Established patients.
And what does that mean?
Well, that they have to have the diagnosis on the books before the doctor actually writes the recommendation.
Okay.
So with Marinol, that is literally, it's a synthetic, and I've been writing that for 20 years. We basically, if someone has a diagnosis like cancer, HIV, or AIDS, which is pretty small box,
Sure.
we write a prescription for that. The problem is it's so expensive. It's like $300 or $400 if insurance even pays for it.
Well, and so in so many ways, I can only imagine that the pharmaceutical industry and insurance companies, big pharma and insurance companies, have not wanted states to legalize marijuana, and that's probably why on a federal level it's still not fully legal.
Right, yeah.
Because you still got a lot of lobbyists and things going on at the federal
absolutely.
level.
Absolutely. Well, and this is a little different ballgame because it's not recreational. So you can't just walk in and get your recommendation. So the process is you have your established doctor. So you can't just, as soon as this comes open in June, you can't just walk in the doctor's office and get a recommendation. So you're established with a doctor. So it's best to get in now.
Yeah, because it's going to be a rush.
It's going to be a rush. And then if you've got doctors who are not open to it or whatever, then that's going to limit who's going to be doing this. And then you have to have fibromyalgia or one of the ICD diagnoses, PTSD or chronic pain.
So there are times when you already have a waiting list for hormones.
Oh, I
people
know.
want to see you for hormones.
it's gonna
I
be
can only
crazy.
imagine what it's going to be like when people start coming in and wanting to get evaluated for medical marijuana. So I think if you have any of these symptoms that Dr. Tammy has been sharing, you need to get established as a patient now and be at the forefront of that rush.
Yeah, because it's not going to be like California where you just walk in and get your card. So what happens is you're established, you have your diagnosis, and then when the DHS actually starts producing the cards, then you'll take a recommendation. It's not a prescription. You'll take a recommendation from myself or whoever to the DHS, and then you'll get your card, and then you can go to a dispensary, and the dispensaries are going to be limited too. So, it's just a thought process. If that's something that you want to use, then you just got to be kind of a little proactive with this. Then you go to a dispensary, and then you can get the smokable or the edible or whatever form, is indicated. But
learn more about how to get a physician's evaluation for medical marijuana. You can go to betterlivingrx.com because Dr. Tammy, you feel comfortable with writing for marijuana. You've been writing for Marinol.
For 20 years
and
almost.
so,
it's crazy.
Get in while you can before everyone tries to get on the books.
Yeah.
Get this done.
Well, and there are other medications that are coming from the cannabinoids that are already out there for appetite suppressants because all the cannabinoid system basically regulates your homeostasis, your metabolism, your sleep, your wake, your mood. So there are other medications even out there right now.
Well, and there's supplements. There's cannabinoid oil. You can get that right down the street. They're advertising it already here in town for inflammation and help with pain. I don't think there's anything quite as effective as the good old ganja.
I want to clear up about hemp too. Hemp has no THC in it.
Correct.
So it doesn't have the catnip for
if you're
humans.
wearing
It's just cannabinoids.
if you're wearing hemp socks, you ain't getting high.
Everybody thinks hemp is the devil.
Yeah, you got some hemp underwear, you ain't getting high for medical purposes, of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
'Cause that's the only reason. That's the only reason you're smoking in marijuana in Arkansas is if you got medical needs, medical necessities.
Do it legit.
See you after the commercial.
We'll see you after the commercial.
Do it legit.
Yeah, do it legit.
Legit. Legit.
Welcome to Grubbs Bar and Grill. We're locally owned and operated since 2001. We pride ourselves on being a staple in Northwest Arkansas, not only for our food, but also for
the best place to catch all your favorite teams in action with TVs everywhere you look. Let our friendly staff cater to your family's needs.
We are home to the best happy hour in town. Check out our Fort Smith location. Same great food, service, and atmosphere.
For more information on Grubbs specials and events, follow us online or visit grubbsbargrill.com.
See you at Grubbs.
Well, I was sitting in the doctor's office waiting on him to come in the room, and there's a poster on the door that says, if you can answer 3 of these questions with a yes answer, you most probably need your testosterone tested. So I read the questions, and all 8 of them pertain to me. He sent me that afternoon to have blood work done, and then got the results. He told me, well, I don't know how you're getting out of your chair. It's so low. And so he started therapy immediately after that, every 2 weeks, and now it's down to once a month, and I just feel like a changed person. The things I used to think about doing, I get them done now. And I mean, you just feel good all day long, and you feel more motivated. Your mind thinks more clearer, and I just really think I feel wonderful. I mean, I feel probably, like I said earlier, 35, 40 years old again. I mean, it's fun to be feeling better. I would tell anyone over the age of 40 to go be tested because the way I feel, it's changed my life.
Welcome back to The Naked Doctor. You know, I told you in the other segments that we were going to dispel a few myths, and one of them is that it just became legal in Arkansas, my home state, or that it became legal in 8 states. Actually, it's been legal for a long time. I've been writing since I've been out of medical school, since 2000, for marijuana, and we use it for nausea and what we call cachexia, weight loss from HIV and cancer. But the difference is that we prescribe it in pill form. It's something called Marinol. So we've been using it for a long time. So all of this political, financial, tax debate, all of that is completely irrelevant when we have this conversation about medical marijuana. So one of the fun things that I want to tell you is that everyone has, not really marijuana in their system, but has something called cannabinoids in their system. So this is what most people don't know, and where a lot of the judgment comes in about the uses of potentially the components of medical marijuana. I think it's just good to be empowered so that you can know what you're talking about when you actually get in this debate. Okay, so from a medical standpoint, we all have this system in our bodies called the endocannabinoid system. And what this system does is it regulates homeostasis, meaning balance. So balance between our mood, in our weight, in our metabolism, in our hunger, in our sleep, just about every pathway, including our immune system, our mood, everything that functions in our body is ruled by this endocannabinoid system. Now, the interesting thing is that we have inside us these endocannabinoids called anandamide and 2-arachidylglycerol. So those are big words, big nerdy words that basically say that we have these cannabinoids in our system all the time. Now, the interesting thing is that just like with hormones, you have hormones in your body all the time. You can take plant-based hormones, which I prescribe them all the time for people with hormone deficiencies. You can take plant-based cannabinoids. So these plant-based cannabinoids, the main ones are THC, which we know is catnip for humans, which makes us a little goofy because it's psychoactive. And the chemical name for that is delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinoid. So it is a cannabinoid. Or cannabinol, which is CBD, or cannabinol, which is CBN. So these are the plant-based, and you can find cannabinoids in plants like cannabis, which is marijuana, which also has THC in it, which everybody gets all, up in arms about because the THC makes people act a little goofy. And there are other cannabinoids found in things like hemp and even echinacea. You've probably heard of echinacea. It has all sorts of immune fighting properties. So the interesting thing is that whether it's an endocannabinoid that your body makes or it's a plant-based phytocannabinoid, they all regulate these CB1 and CB2 receptors that are in all vertebrates, all mammals' body. So you have these CB1 and CB2 receptors. Some people kind of interestingly have had the experience, if they've ever tried marijuana the first time, and even people who try medical marijuana the first time may not feel the effects, even the analgesic effects, meaning pain relief, or the anti-nausea effects, or with THC, even the psychoactive effects the first time they try it. Because what happens is the body actually upregulates these CB1 and CB2 receptors after the first time you use an exogenous, meaning an external cannabinoid. So we normally have these cannabinoids in our body, and yes, we can take external cannabinoids, but everyone's got these internal cannabinoids. So my thought for that be, before you start judging the medical benefits of medical marijuana, to actually understand that everyone has this system in their bodies. And there are already medications. There are some diet medications that are already being studied, that are already available for people. So we're actually using the cannabinoids. And the cannabinoids that don't have THC are legal in a lot of states, so we're already using this as well. So I just wanted to dispel some myths. For people in the legal states who are going to start using medical marijuana, there's an interesting site that I found when I was doing my research called leafy.com. There are different strains that can treat different conditions. So if you have nausea, there are strains that are better for that. different plant strains. If you have chronic pain, there are different strains for that. If you have appetite issues, there are different strains for that. And there are actually some strains who have been studied extensively on treating cancer, or I don't want to say curing cancer, but there's a process in the body called apoptosis. I'll just write it over here, apoptosis. It's called programmed cell death. And so our cells are turning over all the time. And how we do this is we repair our cells and turn our cells over all the time. So medical marijuana, actually the cannabinoids, can help with this apoptosis process to kill cancer cells. So I'm not touting it as the cure for cancer, but certainly has a role, and we don't want to discount some of these very powerful properties for medical marijuana just out of fear, just out of political or financial or whatever reasons are. So I just want people to know their facts, be very educated about this before they start judging or start saying it's bad. As far as a gateway drug, one of the interesting things is that this actually helps people not take dangerous narcotics. And the interesting thing about phytocannabinoids is they do not affect the areas in the brain for respiration or heartbeat like narcotics do. So there's no lethal dose of marijuana, so nobody can die unless you're taking other drugs with it. But marijuana itself, there's no lethal dose, and it's not dangerous, so you can't overdose from it, which is very powerful, unlike narcotics. And it allows us to use narcotics more sparingly. So just know your facts, be educated, be empowered, and know that we all have this cannabinoid system, and it affects all of us.
Hi, I'm Deborah. I've met Dr. Tammy about 2.5 years ago. I was in a really bad spiral. My health wasn't good, my hormones were out of whack, and I thought I was eating healthy, but really I wasn't. I didn't know why I was on this spiral. Totally stressed out. And so after visiting with Dr. Tammy many times, I felt like I was going to a counseling session because she just helped me overall, not just with my hormones, not with just my food sensitivities, but she helped me balance my stress. I wasn't sleeping either, so can you imagine not sleeping any more than 3 hours a night? Well, that's where I was, so I was not in a good place. Dr. Tammy was able to balance my hormones. Now I sleep 8 hours a night, and I eat healthy, what is good for my body. The foods that are good for me and for my body, so it's really specific to me. So being stressed out in the corporate world, I decided was not for me, and here I am working for Dr. Tammy, and I'm so excited that I'm able to help other people be able to balance their hormones, feel better, you know, just like the word says, Better Living RX. That's what we do. We want everyone to feel better. Remember, Dr. Tammy can help you live better.
Welcome to Grub's Bar and Grill. We're locally owned and operated since 2001. We pride ourselves on being a staple in Northwest Arkansas, not only for our food, but also for
the best place to catch all your favorite teams in action with TVs everywhere you look. Let our friendly staff cater to your family's needs.
We are home to the best happy hour in town. Check out our Fort Smith location. Same great food, service, and atmosphere.
For more information on Grub's specials and events, follow us online or visit grubsbargrill.com.
See you at Grubs. We're back on the Naked Doctor Show talking about if you want to get high with your pain, make your pain go away. High is a reference to alleviating pain due to medical conditions, not for recreational use. We're not advocating that, but you know, we're talking about medical marijuana today on the show. Nobody's talking about that. Dr. Tammy's talking about medical marijuana.
When you talk about THC, the catnip for humans, that's only one of all the cannabinoids. So, I mean, that's such a small portion of what medical marijuana is all about. And there are so many medicinal purposes, all sorts of different plants like I talked about. You can go to leafy.com and explore more about which strains are better for which aches or pains.
How many doctors telling you about leafy.com? You're awesome.
It's a great website, so you can go and be empowered, be educated.
Don't answer that question.
No, absolutely not. I'm healthy. I don't need it.
Okay.
Right? Medical diagnosis. But there are so many different areas where it can help people, and I think we have established that it's safe. It can't kill you by itself, can't kill you. You know, there's other things that are illegal that are lethal, alcohol and opiates, completely safe, and you know, you just have to do it smart and empowered and do your homework, and I just want you to live better, longer, and have the most quality that you can.
That's what we're all about. BetterLivingRx.com. Check us out. Find out more about medical marijuana, Dr. Tammy, and also those. I just love these outfits, these clothes.
Oh yes, thank you, Janae from Cabby. She's really kind of showed up and been amazing with. I get to wear different clothes.
Outfits,
feel like a Barbie doll every day. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you all for joining us for another fantastic episode of The Naked Doctor.
We had a ton of fun.
Yeah. And we weren't even high.
No, we weren't. We love y'all very much. Have a blessed week. We'll see you back here next week on The Naked Doctor. I'm Dr. Tammy, the Hormone Queen. In my almost 20 years of experience in working with tens of thousands of patients, I found that hormones have everything to do with weight loss. There are fat burning and fat storing hormones, so you have to maximize the fat burning and minimize the fat storing hormones. I've created Dr. Tammy's 21-day metabolic solution, which will help you heal your metabolism and lose weight. Very exciting. So what do we have? We have my daily metabolic support, which is formulated with all the ingredients to help your fat burning hormones work better and to minimize your fat storing hormones. I also have a great whey protein if you need a little bit of a meal replacement or just to help with some of the appetite. Helps with that glucose metabolism because let's face it, sugar storage, insulin, those issues are huge with trying to lose weight. And when you crave sugar, it's just no fun. So you're never hungry when you're doing this. Our Detox Complete helps heal the gut so that your body can absorb all these nutrients, because if you don't heal the gut first, then you're wasting your money on all this stuff. So I wanted to make sure you have all those great amino acids and anti-inflammatories. And one of the things that we found is most people are not overweight, they're inflamed. And so you have to treat the inflammation for you to lose the weight and for it to be sustainable. I also have my secret weapon, which I absolutely love, which is methylated vitamins. This is L-methylfolate, and this helps clear toxins because most people are not only inflamed, but they're toxic. So this helps clear all of that and helps your hormones work better. And then we have a great probiotic. There have been studies that have shown that people who are overweight have different bacteria in their guts than people who are thin. So if you want to be thin, you need the thin bacteria. So this probiotic helps heal the gut, and all of these things together help your metabolism work better and help you lose weight faster. To get Dr. Tammy's 21-day metabolic solution, just go to betterlivingrx.com to get started. We don't lose weight to get healthy, we get healthy to lose weight.